Hey guys, Doug from Pinetree Outdoors. I am here in Coppercliff, Ontario, just outside of my hometown of Sudbury, Ontario, and I'm standing in the shadows of the second tallest freestanding structure in Canada, and that is the Superstack. And more recently, the two stacks beside it have been built in order to better control emissions, and we're not quite sure what's going to happen with the Superstack, but all signs point to the fact that it's going to be taken down. It's a very iconic part of Sudbury and its history. Good or bad, Sudbury would not be here without mining, and the original intent of the Superstack was to clean up mining. Being such an iconic part of Sudbury's skyline, I really wanted to give you people a little bit of history about the Superstack.
Construction of the Superstack began in 1970 at a cost of $25 million and entered into full operation in 1972. The Superstack was built to disperse sulfur gases and other byproducts of the smelting process away from the city of Sudbury. Construction of the Superstack was an unparalleled engineering feat. There was no higher chimney in the world. On March 2, 1970, the first load of concrete was delivered to the site. Concrete was poured 5 days a week, 24 hours a day, by the Canadian Kellogg Company using a specially constructed slip-form platform which could be raised as the concrete structure got higher. The concrete was hoisted up in 1-yard buckets from inside the stack, where they were loaded into quarter-yard buggies that distributed the concrete into the form around the stack. By the time the stack was near completion, it took 10 minutes to hoist 1 yard of concrete to the top. The Superstack is 1,250 feet or 381 meters high and is the tallest chimney in the Western Hemisphere and the second largest in the world. The tallest chimney in the world is now the Greater 2 power station in Kazakhstan, which is about 124 feet taller. From 1972 to 1987, when the Greater 2 power station chimney was built, the Guinness Book of World Records had the Superstack as the tallest chimney in the world, and the second tallest freestanding structure of any type in Canada, just behind the CN Tower. The Superstack is 35 meters wide at the bottom, with 1 meter thick walls. At the top, it's 16 meters wide and 25 centimeter thick walls. It has 937 tons of reinforcing steel buried in its concrete shell and a stainless steel liner that weighs 17,585 tons. Following the completion of the stack's concrete shell, a top-to-bottom vertical steel ladder was installed inside with rest platforms for maintenance. Construction of the Superstack was followed by an environmental reclamation project across the city of Sudbury, including the liming and seeding of more than 3,200 hectares, as well as the planting of approximately 300,000 trees annually. A decision has been made by the current owners of the Superstack, Vale, to take it out of service by the first quarter of 2020. It will be replaced by two smaller and more efficient 450-foot or 137-meter stacks. Two smaller and more efficient stacks, Vale will reduce greenhouse gas emissions by approximately 40%. At the same time, Vale's Clean AER project, or Atmospheric Emissions Reduction Project, will also reduce particulate emissions by 40% and dramatically reduce sulfur dioxide emissions by 85%. According to Vale, the Superstack will cease operation in the first quarter of 2020. The inner steel liner will be removed soon after it ceases operation to mitigate anticipated corrosion. The Superstack will be placed into a care and maintenance mode, as an extensive study is conducted to determine the best way to safely and carefully demolish the concrete shell of the Superstack. There is no immediate need for the shell to be demolished, and it is expected to be part of the Sudbury skyline for several years to come. Given the Superstack's proximity to the smelter, explosives will not be used to demolish the Superstack. Extensive study will be conducted to determine the best way to safely and carefully demolish the concrete shell. The Superstack sits in the town of Coppercliff, and that has to be taken into consideration as well. The Superstack represents different things to different people. To some, it's an impressive engineering feat, a landmark associated with our city's roots rich in mining, a landmark associated with the place we call home. And to others, it's a daily reminder of Sudbury's mining past, which nearly destroyed our natural landscape. Either way, it appears a decision has been made to remove it from our landscape, our skyline, after having been here for over 50 years by the time it's taken down. Although I think we can all agree with the reasons for Vale to cease using the Superstack, the decision to take down the Superstack itself is one that invokes many emotions from our community and will be debated for many years to come.